Tom, we have another question from Jeff, one of our Patreon supporters. I've been haunted by dreams, nightmares of being stuck in some bizarre, almost perceptually geometric style place, which I have struggled to get out of. This has created a fear of death, as it feels that this is somehow related to existence in either the transitional or another level just above that, where, though it creates its own confusion, which becomes a prison. How does one deal with that fear? I find that fear facing me often when trying to go into deeper states.
Well, sounds like if it's been haunting you all that time since childhood and now you're in the 60s, it's pretty much ingrained in your system of the way you are. So it's going to be hard to change it. You build up stability in things over time, and you've built up a lot of stability around this particular dysfunction. So that makes it harder to get rid of it. If it's some casual thing that just happened last week, it's a lot easier to get rid of than it's something you've been experiencing since you were a child. But it is your fear. When you are out of body, there's a certain fear of the unknown. When I say out of body, you're just not here, is what I mean. If you're in some other mental space, some other mind space than this virtual reality we call the physical universe, then there's fear of the unknown associated with that. And the fear of the unknown will provide something scary. And it sounds like it's been providing something scary for you for a long, long time. So that'll make it a little problematic because you've worn a pretty deep rut of familiarity here over the years. That's what makes it a little harder to get out of because you've worn such a deep rut for so long. But what you can do is set your mind to, I will not go to that place. I will not go to that geometric place that I can never get out of. That's just me being frightened, and I don't want to be there. That represents my fear, and I don't want to be there. Set that as strongly as you can in your mind before going to sleep. Say that over and over in your mind, as you're getting ready for bed, as you get into the bed, as you're trying to go to sleep. I don't want to go there. It's not functional. It represents my fear, and I'd rather be someplace else. And you might even have a someplace else, something you'd like to do, somewhere you'd like to be, or something you'd like to dream about. Well, put that in there if you can come up with something. I'd like to dream about whatever. So it's good if you can put in something to replace it. But even if you just leave it as I don't want to be there, it may help some. Now, in the beginning, when you first try it, it probably won't work very well. But that doesn't mean that it won't work. It means that you just have to keep after it. You have to keep doing it. You will get better and better at leaving that suggestion in your mind. So that would be the first thing to do. Try to interrupt the process of happening with your own will for it not to happen, and better yet, for something else to happen in its place. When it does happen, as soon as you find yourself in this place, instead of the futile search that you go on every time you're there, you go into some sort of futile search, running here, running there, trying to find the way to escape. And of course, you haven't found it in 60 years. You're probably not going to find it, tomorrow night or tonight. So instead of that, set in your mind, if I do go into that place, I don't want to go there, but if I do get into that place, I will wake up. And then I will think about other things and go back to sleep. So you wake up, think about what your life was like when you were 12. Try to get into your feelings when you were 12. Feel what it was like to be 12. The relationship you had with your parents, the relationship you had with your siblings, with the school that you went to. Try to recapture as much of 12 as you can. No, I just made that up. It could be 6, it could be 10, or it could be all of those. But that's something to put your mind on. It's something to take up space in your mind. And I want all the details of 12. Where did you go on your 12th? After you were 12, what was the next family vacation that came up after that? And where did you go? And what happened? So you're really going to have to pull things out of the memory. And if nothing comes up, well, don't take that for an answer. You're going to go back and try harder to pull things up. So what that's going to do is put your mind in another space. Hopefully, it'll push out the fear that's causing the problem, fill your mind with whatever it is you're doing, like being 12 years old again, trying to remember all the details of being 12. And then you will fall asleep, and then you won't go there. You still have this thing going on in your head. I do not want to go there anymore. It's a useless, fearful place. Nothing ever happens there that's of value. So just keep that up. Might take a couple of months before it starts to work, because you've got a deep habit. You've worn a very deep rut for yourself to be in. So it won't be a quick jump out of it, but you can get out of it that way. Put a lot of effort into this redirection, and into the I don't want to be there, into the redirection of being someplace else. And then you are likely to go to sleep, find yourself 12 years old, and actually doing those things that you were thinking about. And then you can look and see, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, we went to the beach that year. I remember that now. My sister almost got lost in the, whatever. Things will start coming back. So you need something that will take your mind off of the fear, get you distracted away from the fear, because the rut you've worn means that it's almost, you don't have to do anything. That fear and that place and that river just pop up a lot because they're there. You've been doing it a very long time. It's very familiar. So you need to have something equally alluring to the positive side.
That's a really interesting practical advice, Tom, that I think is going to help a lot of people and in your audience.
Well, you can apply that to all sorts of things that are bothering you. You can apply it to tinnitus that we just talked about as well. You can say, okay, I want to remember when I was 16. Let's see, that's the year I got my driver's license. All right, and you can just start working with that and pulling up all the facts that you can about that and what that was like, but mostly how you felt. What were your insides like? What were your feelings like? What were your attitudes like? What were your beliefs like? Try to get into that person that you were. And that can be so engrossing that the tinnitus or the bad dreams or the rest of the stuff just never happened because your mind is full of something else.
I don't know if he's had that condition, the tinnitus, for a long time, but a method you could use also is to go back to a time when you didn't have that condition and kind of reset that. That's something that sometimes people use.
Anything that will help your mind put less attention to the problem, whether it's the fear and the bad dream or the tinnitus or the gout or whatever it is, anything to take your mind off of it, so you don't give it any attention and you're not easily engrossed in it. As soon as you find yourself engrossed in it, you jump out of it. Do something else.
Thank you.
But don't do something else while you still think about the problem. Just do something else that takes enough of your mind to push everything else out. Like Tom Spark. Go get the book Tom Spark. If you haven't gotten it, read the book, understand how it works, and go to Tom Spark.
There's a help desk there. You can ask someone for the best method to get rid
you can
of
go to the help
nightmares.
desk. You can
There's
just
a
get on
lot
your
of
horse
things.
and ride it and see what adventures. And there's a lot of things there that will keep your mind occupied.
So many people use it for very practical things like that.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Tom, and I hope that helps you, Jeff. Thanks so much.
I and MBT Events hope you like this video. If you do, then you should consider being a Patreon member, because Patreon members get early access to our special content. You will also be able to get your questions answered by me in special Q&A sessions, and most importantly, your contribution as a patron member will enable us to produce the content that you're looking for. So thank you.